Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back with AOR, which I felt like I haven't spoken or done a commentary on for ages now. And you may notice that this is not Singapore, and I've decided not to upload that because, in all honesty, it was a pretty dire race. I had a really good first stint, but on the soft tyre, there was just no action or anything at all, so I just don't think it's worth it. And we actually came 7th. The pace was just really, really poor, and I used a controller for that race as well. Just kind of last minute decision, kind of bottling it. And for this, you can see now turning off the controller, which is actually the wheel I'm on, because I've been practicing hardcore on the wheel. Pace is very, very good in the dry. I did think we did a 30.7, and in the race we were only a couple of attempts off the pin. But as you can see, it's full wet, which is the reason why I've gone on the controller, and you'll be able to see my setup now, which I play around with quite a bit. And I will be using the controller whenever it's wet. I will always use it because it is the fastest device, and if I can use both, then that's what I'm going to do. So you can see this is my original setup, which I did in the mastering Malaysia, and we're going to change the wings because it's going to be full wet for quite a bit of the race, so we want that extra downforce. We're going to keep that 10 ballast. The brakes and suspension, everything going to be the same. We're going to change the transmission. I think we're going to change it to 60. Because if you run a lower transmission, it will not give you as good traction, but it will make it a lot easier to save the car when it's going from like side to side. So that is the reason for that. So we are using the pad for this because, as I said, in wet conditions, I feel I'll never be faster on the wheel, because I just think the pad, it's got the force feedback, which something I do sympathize with wheel users in the wet. It's there is no force feedback or anything at all. So in the dry, it'll always be the wheel, and because the pace is very, very good. But in the wet, it will be the pad as we run for this. But we've done no running with the pad, so we're just jumping straight into this. Flying Fig gets a pole position, 30.4, which we did a 0.7 with the wheel in practice. So I thought it was pretty good. And now we're going to add a little bit of fuel. I'm running through the setup again. So go around 311 wings, 70-70 diff, which I think we actually put that down a little bit as well. Yes, we do. We put it down to 60. So it gives us a little bit of traction, but it will make it very, very stable through the change of directions, which is what you need in the wet. So I really do recommend definitely don't run a high diff in the wet, because you may get that good initial traction and maybe a potential better performance, but in terms of catching the car, it will be very, very difficult. So running slightly more downforce than we did, but everything else in the setup is exactly the same. Suspension geometry, suspension, brakes. Haven't changed the brakes or anything at all. So we're starting last because of that qualifying ban, which I was pretty gutted about actually, because I think we could have started in the top 3 and then it will wet race with Riga. So now the lights have gone out now, and we're just going to play it really cautious, so not even really reacting to lights. We're just going to let everyone go into this first corner. There's no real point right now, so we're just going to brake relatively early just to see what's going on really. But we can see a gap going in the middle, so a few people going out wide, so we see this as a little bit of an opportunity to go through some cars. Well, we actually made up three-ish positions, or 2 and a bit positions. Just about now, someone's going on the grass, so trying not to get any damage, which is really crucial, so we make a little bit of contact with EVR Cow behind us. So we made up 3 positions already. We've got to go down the inside of Evo, thinking a little bit better of it as he goes a little bit out wide. So let's see what we can do here now. And the traction at this point is being really good. Using lean mix, again, something I really do recommend in the wet, especially on the full wet tyre. You want to be using lean mix a lot. 4th gear now coming out through here, so lean mix. On the intermediates, you can get away with just running standard. You don't need to run lean with the green intermediate tyre, but with the blue, you always run lean on traction zones. So that's absolutely must. You can see we're fiddling around with that, and we made up 4 positions already going into here now. And hopefully this video will give you a good insight of how to drive in the wet. Something I really absolutely just love. It's my favourite game I've ever played in driving the wet, or on an F1 game anyway. But it made up 6 positions at the moment, as we've gone back into 11th. So oh my god, it's Joe into this corner. We'll go down the inside because we were super confident on the brakes. So 4th gear, 3rd gear, just got a little bit of bite as we get the corner. We made up 6 positions going into, well, we haven't even completed a lap yet, so really good. No damage, which is what I just really was aiming to do. No damage at all, but you can see on the brakes we could just brake so late, and that is because we're running at 75 and 54 front brake bias, it just allows you to not really, it's very difficult to lock up with 54 brake bias, so that's what I really recommend running at this point. But we're going to go down the inside of the Langman, third gear, second gear, well, not use second gear actually, but third gear, making up position, and now we've gone at 9th place, so we've made up 7 positions in 1 lap, which is pretty really good. But you can see, we noticed we have actually changed our brake bias slightly, just for really that penultimate corner, because it's very, very oversteer going to here. But now we're going down the inside of our teammate, and you may be thinking these are actual attempts to overtake. These weren't really overtake attempts. These are really just to unsettle the car in front. I knew I wasn't really going to get fully alongside there, but it's really to just put him offline and just really just to try and make him a little bit nervous going to the next corner. That's really why I was doing this. So again, we're going to do the same tactic. We're not really going to get this move done, but again, just trying to force him offline, just really try and unsettle him on the traction. And now we're going to get a better exit up here again, so just weaving a little bit, just really so I could see, to be honest. But I think we're probably going to try another move down this side, which we do again. So we're just doing the same thing again. As I said, this wasn't really a reckless dive bomb or anything. This was honestly just to try and put him offline, because I knew he would give me room, drivers in this league, to just really unsettle him, come to the straight. As you can see here, we're just doing it again, just really trying to force him down the inside. So we're going to let him have the corner here, I believe actually, but we're going to stay super, super tight. I actually got kind of locked onto his car there, so I was actually trying to make the car go straight, but it was kind of just being locked. And now we've gone into 8th place in this race, so it's really, really good, as Jason now goes out wide. So that's now us into 7th place. So we've made up 9 positions now in 4 laps, or not even 4 laps has actually gone. But now we're going to skip on to lap 5, and we're actually caught up to the group once again. And you can see using lean mix coming up here, very, very important. Do quite a slow downshift, but we don't even downshift this corner. We leave it in 4th gear, getting good traction. You can see just the traction we get coming off this now. Being really, really committed through these corners, and we'll probably go do a little half move down the inside again. So again, not really planning to overtake, but again, just try and put him offline as we do. And now we've got a little bit of a slipstream here, so we'll probably go do the same, most likely again come to this corner. So using rich mix, reasonable amount of fuel on the car this time, and again, same tactic once again. So it puts him out wide, but actually we do quite a good move, no contact actually, and now that just kind of forces him to just get a little bit more delayed on the power. Go and rich mix, let him clear it, and now we're going to go into the slipstream, and this should be a relatively easy move. Looks like he's just going to leave the door open down the inside, 2nd gear, just to really bite the car in a bit more. But we've just got that little bit more downforce, and in qualifying people are probably running a little bit less, so I decided to really up my wings, especially at the rear, just to make it that more stable. But again, same thing, which really just, when you see that arrow towards you, you just instinctively just want to go out wide. So that's the reason why I'm doing that really, for each single corner. But now we're into 6th place in this race, only going, well, just starting lap 7 as well. And at this point I was thinking we could possibly get close to the leaders this race, because our pace was very, very good, and considering we did do any wet practice for this race. I think we did a time trial like a couple of days before, just to see what kind of time I'd get, but we never did any wet practice for this. So just jumping in here with the pad, and you can see on the brakes we're just super, super confident. 4th gear through here, something I recommend for the wet again. Lean mix, and try and stay in high gears for corners, because it really will help minimize that wheel spin, and it's just something you develop over time. But you probably want to stay in more high gears than what you would do for the drive. But again, we're doing something similar. This was a little bit more of a kind of reckless dive bomb. This wasn't really, again, trying to overtake, but trying to make him go out wide. But he didn't go out wide, he actually still took the normal racing line. So we'll go get better exit through here now, and you can see very, very difficult, but our traction is very good. So rich mix, go put it back down to lean for this corner, braking about the same point as you would do. You can see how much later we are on the brakes, just how much more confidence. You can see coming up here now, just the traction we get as well. So go through here, look at our downforce, look how much faster we are going through here, and that's really because of the 10 ballast and using such a big difference between the front and rear ring with the 3 and 11. So we've still got quite a good straight line speed, but we've just got so much rear stability, and it's really showing at this point, which means we could just really just push it for each corner. So we'll probably go for a move here. This was more of half-hearted kind of overtake, but again, it's just trying to really put him offline and just to let the driver know in front that you will go for a move. If a door's open, you will definitely go for a move, which really just makes him a little bit nervous, unsettles him a bit, which is the tactic I really try and do a lot in the wet, and it definitely seems to work. So coming into here now, 5th gear, downshifting very, very late. We can see he actually goes out wide now, which gives us a really good run. So we actually go be side by side, and you can see our straight line speed. People seem to think if you run a really high wing, that really costs your straight line speed, but it really doesn't at all, because we've still got a really good rotation in the car because of that 10 ballast. We've still got really good cornering speed as well. But as he actually goes into pits, because it looks like, as you can see by the sky, it's starting to brighten up now, and we've actually gone, this is into a podium position, and we're only 6.9 or 7 seconds behind RG Matiz, and who's not that far behind Flying Finn as well. So we're going to skip on to the end of lap 9, and I believe we're going to go into pits now, as we're actually going to look at the race director just to make sure people are on the intermediates, which I would have assumed they definitely were, as we've actually started to close in on the leaders as well by a few tenths a lap. So working very, very nicely at this point. So going to the pits, spotting this braking line, which is going to be just underneath the Petronas board. Be nice and cautious into here. We don't want to get a drive-through penalty, and we're going to put on the intermediate tyres, which the Flying Finn and RG Matiz actually does, which is pretty comforting to see, because you never know this game, it could be dries for all we know. But we're going to go on the intermediates, getting a good pit stop here, and let's see, I think most likely Surprise and Stone are going to undercut us because they pitted that lap before us. As you can see, EVR Round setting the fastest lap, and Surprise Matt, and I think that is ESR Stone, battling away. So it looks like they got about a second or so undercut on us. But we have got fresher tyres, and it could be raining to the end of the race. Apparently it's going to be drying out, but again, you never know how long that takes, because even when it does dry out, it definitely takes a good few laps to do that. So we're going to do this, and another overtaking attempt where he doesn't actually go out wide, so just trying to put him a little bit offline, but it didn't really work on this occasion. But you can see it's set in purple, fastest lap, but now we've actually caught up to ESR Stone, and you can see his straight line speed is pretty decent at this point. Using Rich Mix, we're going to go down to Rich or Standard. Well, actually, we're going to leave it in Rich for this. Put him a little bit offline, trying to really tuck our nose in just to try and force him to be really tight for this next corner. Don't clip this curb, because you want to get a really good launch off here. And the intermediates, you could definitely get away with running Rich quite a bit, because it's a lot easier traction than it is in the full wet. So using Rich Mix, going side by side now, go down the inside, really super confident on the brakes again, using the same gears as we did in the wet. 4th gear, and you can see we just get that little launch off there, which is really, really nice. And back down to standard, so we don't really need to use lean that much in these conditions. So definitely switching between the tyre, you definitely want to change your fuel tactic on how you actually approach it. But 4th gear here, trying to do a really late apex. The Surprise goes a little bit out wide, got quite a bit of fuel, slipstream, no DRS of course until the track actually dries out, which could be any time at this point. But we're not going to go for a move this time, because he's probably expecting me to do that. So we'll go try and get a really good exit, a good slingshot off this corner, which we do pretty nicely. Rich Mix still, and he's going to defend the inside, but it looks like he's running quite a low downforce as well, so he's probably running a lot less on the rear. We're going to give him this corner, not really thinking about going around the outside, but trying to make him, deter him from defending properly, trying to get a good exit of this. Again, don't clip this curb. Wait till the car's straight, going full throttle, but he gets a relatively good exit as well. Standard mix for this, and no lean is necessary. You can see we definitely got a good run. Not going to think about going down the inside here, but you can see how late we're braking, and I almost damaged my wing there, which I really didn't want. But you can see 4th gear, the insane traction launch we've got coming up here. So we're going to stick it down the inside. Again, it's all about really trying to just put them off their normal racing line, which is what I always try and do in the wet, because it's very hard to overtake just through pure slipstream. Go think about going down the inside here. He leaves us a little bit of room. 5th gear through here just to minimise the wheel spin. He's gone a little bit out wide on that curve, which really unsettles his car. We're going to go to the outside, and now we're going to go for overtaking move. We're really confident on the brakes. 3rd gear last minute just to get a little extra bite. Staying nice and tight to the inside. 4th gear, again, just to really pick up that traction. And we've got the move done into 3rd place and a podium position from last on the grid in 14 laps, so half the race still to go as well. And we're not that far behind the leaders. You can see them. They've just started on the straight, and it's all to play for. If it was still wet to the end of this race, now I was going to push very, very hard to see exactly what I could do. But we're going to skip on for another 6 laps, and it's actually started to become dry now. DRS hasn't become enabled yet, which is normally a telltale sign when it actually goes dry. But Matiz has actually pitted, and I felt this was the right time to pit as well, as the flying fin actually continues, because I know he definitely always waits for DRS to be enabled, because normally, as I said, that's normally the perfect time to come in, but that could be enabled at any time, so you could lose a lot of time through here. And we're actually going to go on the super soft tyre. I was thinking about going on the softs because I know the harder compound is usually actually better in the wet at the initial stages when the track is damp, but I felt if the tracks go dry next 2 laps, it may be a little bit slower at first, but then towards the end of the race it'll be absolutely rapid because these tyres are very, very quick. So coming out now the pits, a comfortable 3rd place position now. We're not that far behind Matiz though, so if he struggles in these conditions on the slicks, these probably are my favourite conditions as well. When it's dry tyres, when it's on a damp track, I really, really do enjoy these. As you can see, Stone and Surprise, we managed to pull away from them quite nicely in the wet, and they didn't really get much of an undercut on us because I think they pitted probably a lap too early than what it should be. But you can see 4th gig coming to here now, and we're about 6 or so seconds, and DRS has been enabled now, so now Finn could really be struggling on his tyres, so he may have actually left it a little bit too late. But as we go come out here now, Matiz does a 43.2. Let's see what lap time we do. We do a 42.5. You can see how much time we've gained. So on these stages where the track is damp, these are the conditions that I absolutely do love. I absolutely love them at all. But skipping towards the end of the race now, our wet setup didn't really suit the dry, but we got a podium, and I really enjoyed that drive. I just had so much fun actually doing that at all. Yeah, that was probably one of my best races that I've done in AOR for quite a while now. So if we're going from P16 to a podium, I felt I made the right strategy calls in terms of overtaking and stuff as well. It was a really, really good race. I want to say thank you to people who've been using my code, not for just GT Omega, but also for Gamer Subs, which is a drink I've been drinking about half an hour before each of these races. And I've used it for this race in AOR and for STS yesterday where I got pole and 2nd. It's really, really good. And for someone who normally tries to stay away from energy drinks, this drink has got no sugar, it's got nootropics in it, and doesn't really give you a crash or anything at all. And I have the dragon fruit flavour, so if you are interested, I think you get a free trial, a free product as well if you go to the website. So if you use the link down below, and if you are interested, ask me anything, use my code, you get a 10% discount as well. So if you do that, please tweet me so I can follow you, because I really want to do that for anyone who does, and I really do appreciate that. So this race was really, really fun. A really, really good result. I think that's Lee Mather in the Mercedes thing there. I'm pretty sure that was him. But yeah, a really good race. Hopefully you enjoyed that and learnt something from the wet as well. I really do love it in this game. And next track is actually going to be Montreal, because we missed that due to going to esports final. So I really look forward to that one and getting out mastering Montreal probably this week soon as well. So hope you enjoyed that as I did, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
So fragile, like it was built to break off the handle. How'd we get to this place? We're leaving everything behind for new and exciting feelings, but I won't leave you. Will everything we know be lost and changed for something new?